All right. Hey, what's up, PTX fam? This is Shiblord here, joined by the great CK and the great Walks. Brand's taking a couple hours off as he needs to, which is perfectly fine there. We'll catch him on the later AMAs. I am here, though, on this beautiful August 15th, 2022, for our weekly community AMA. These will be every single week, same time, same place, here in our Discord, 8 p.m. UTC, 4 p.m. EST, 3 p.m. CST, 1 p.m. PST, and whatever time zone it might be near you. Please be sure to leave us any questions you might have in that AMA questions channel. And also, of course, if you'd like to request to speak, simply request to speak here in the Discord and we'll bring you up live as my dog is trying to squeak his toy in the background for good measure. So with this AMA here, we're going to be going into obviously the launch of the pre-sale, some things that we've gone into and done last week, things that are planned to happen this week before we go live on Friday, and of course, what is to come, the developmental aspects, answer any questions, give you guys an outlet to talk to us here directly. That's the whole point of these AMAs here, because we do so many AMAs right now. So I'll kind of go into just a chronological order here. So last week we had 10 or 15 AMAs throughout the week there. Obviously, pre-sale got delayed. Thank you guys for being so I guess, understanding of that whole thing there. And shout out to the Solar team for jumping on in and literally saving the day. We found a much better team, much quicker, much stronger, much more adaptable, and they are building something fantastic that we're going to use here. So I'll kind of start with that. So the Solar team, the contract that we're going to be having for our rebasing, our PTX token, initially was going to launch just as a standardized rebase token with our last team. They weren't going to be able to add in the LMS system yet and some of the other variables that we needed. But good news, they ghosted us, and then we got an even better team. So with the team over at Solar, they are building our token. It went into their test phase late last night, so we should have a good finalized factor here coming up pretty soon. They've added in the reducing APR mechanism so we can facilitate that halving measure, that reducing APR by 10% each month over 12 months. We can also have the LMS price stabilizer implemented into the contract on day one, the auto routing to each and every aspect of the tax revenue that we need. And it's also proxy based, so we can continue to add on to things over time. Another thing that we've just added in today was a mechanism that prevents rebases from our LP contract. Now, why would this be important? Something that someone brought up to us, and I'm not sure if I can name drop them, so I'm not going to, but one of the issues with these rebase tokens is the token itself, obviously the paired token, the rebasing token. Let's just go with the factor of 1 million token to 35,000 BUSD. Let's just play that as an example, right? Let's say nothing changes. So you have that 1 million token times 1.0177. So nothing changes by tomorrow. Now we have 1,017,700 rebasing tokens and still 35,000 BUSD. That creates a direct dilution of the LP, and obviously is going to be inherently putting a negative price mechanism into the LP because you're imbalancing too much of the native token and less of the other paired token, right? So what we've done there, simple. I have no idea why this is not implemented yet, but shout out to that person who did. I don't see them in here, so I'll shout them out on private that suggested it. It's very, very easy now. We have a mechanism in there just to make that wallet not rebase. So now there won't be that inherent internal dilution to the LP, which I know it sounds kind of small and, whatever, but that's going to be a relatively big deal over the course of 6 months, a year, and longer, of course, because that, 17,000 extra in a day, you got to magnetize that every single day. That is compounding. So that is a direct price negative aspect if you do not have it the way we designed it. So why am I saying this? I brought it up to the Solar team this morning, and they added it in. Just like that. Boom, done. So now we have that mechanism added. Just another variable of sustainability. That one got me a little bit excited this morning to work through, and it's already there ready to go live for us when we go live with our token. So all sorts of good things, and I genuinely look forward to what we have here, because even our token contract is not just that normal basic rebase contract that we've seen out there. It's also a proxy, so we can add in different things over time if we need to, which is a good thing. It's not a fixed. It's just rather than doing a full migration, you can just do a proxy contract addition, and that allows you to grow and expand the contract in and of itself. So those are some of the more exciting things that we've developed. We did change the tokenomics a little bit of the NFTs as well. So I'll go into that here. I don't know if we put out the formal announcement yet, but let me pull up my document and we'll go through that as well. But basically, the NFTs we were talking about it, they looked like they were going to be too diluted as well, to the point that it would be very, very difficult to, sell them as a reasonable thing. What if they're only making a few dollars a week, for example? That's not going to really do it for people. So instead of 20,000 total, which is a ton, we've changed it up a bit. Still, the 2% buy-in sales tax goes into the NFTs. 2% every time. Very simple, very easy. Then we have the 4 tiers of NFTs now. So we have a lower tier. It's going to be called the common passage, and the passage is just in reference to doors. There'll be 5,000 of those. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to price them just yet, so let me kind of hold off on there, but I have a price in mind. These are going to get a 65% distribution of the total tax that's going to be put into this pool. Then the next tier is going to be the uncommon passage, which is the next level of doors. There's going to be 1,500 total of those. Those are going to have to be upgraded with the X keys, and it's going to cost, at this point, subject to change, but this is where we are, approximately 2,500 PTX to upgrade to these. This 1,500 will be 20% of the total share tax pool. So a little bit better than the lower one, one for one kind of based. Then the next level is going to be the rare passage, and that's the next level of NFT doors, obviously. There's going to be 400 total of these. These are also upgradable, those X keys, and they're going to cost, again, subject to change, 10,000 PTX to exchange to upgrade there. That'll be a very significant burn mechanism, but these highest upgraded tier, besides the legendary that I'll go into in a minute, is relatively advantageous to those who decide to acquire it. Only 400 of them makes them very, very special, which is a good thing. So, sorry, just kind of multi-purpose reading questions as we go. All right. Then there's going to be the legendary passage, which is going to be the highest tier, very, very exclusive NFTs. These are only going to be given out in certain events. We've seen the first event, and that's acquiring a max wallet in the pre-sale. So if you do acquire a max wallet in the pre-sale and you follow the you are then eligible for that entry there. The legendary passageways accumulate. There's only 100 total. Only provided for only 100 events. Total of them. Highest proportional revenue from the taxes. So just those 100 are going to get 5% of that X share revenue, which is pretty cool. I mean, that's a significant bonus. They're going to get additional eligibility for airdrops from maybe the Ego bot and some other aspects over time. And they're going to be the ones that serve as a governance tokens. Why did I do it that way? I don't want to sound like we're catering towards whales or anything like that. But generally speaking, those who have a significant investment into the protocol, or they decide to participate in some of the more unique events that we might have there, they tend to have a more vested interest in the protocol in the totality of the circumstances. So giving them that governance voting right allows them to have an equal voice at our table. Right now we have 6 members of the team. It's not going to be a classic DAO, so those voters are not going to decide everything, of course. But I'm going to treat their voice just the same way I do as my own, as CK's, as Walks, as Adams, as Sally's, and as Brand's. It's going to be one seat at the table equal to all of us. And these guys up here can affirm that I think I've only really shut down like one thing. When people bring stuff up, I'm very receptive to it. I'm going to think through it logically. I'm not an ego-driven person, so don't mind any of that there. And then I just like having that extra voice. So that, governance token is going to be their voice to us. Hey, yeah, it's kind of a whale sort of thing in a sense, but not directly. It's going to be more so vested into the protocol in various aspects there. There'll be additional mechanisms to distribute those over time. So there'll be ways for people to participate. I am incredibly excited for the NFT system as well. That is being built. I just sent in the specs to the Solar team so that can get built up in due time. That's going to be a pretty advantageous thing, a pretty unique thing that we offer to the space here. Very different than what most others do. So that is some of the more exciting things that we have going on. And then, of course, the less exciting things, but still exciting because I get to do more AMAs. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 8 potential, definitely 7 more AMAs confirmed. Maybe an 8th one as well popping up, and then maybe some more from there. We have 2 tomorrow, 1 on Wednesday, 3 on Thursday, and 1 on Friday. And then, of course, our pre-sale ends on Friday at 1700 UTC. So we have a bunch more AMAs today. We did one this morning. CK posted it up to the YouTube channel, so check that out. It was a Telegram-based one if you guys hadn't seen it. Obviously, lots of good information there. Next one is going to be the House of Obsidian tomorrow at 3 p.m. UTC. I have it in the events channel. Check that out there. Come join us with the House of Obsidian AMAs. They host pretty good AMAs as well. Once we get all that done, of course, there's going to be a lot more going on over the coming weeks. We have plenty to announce still, even on Friday once we go live. I'm super excited for our partnership announcement that I'm not allowed to announce yet, that I cannot wait for us to announce. But to drop some hints, we are not going live on PCS primarily and Pancake Swap. We're going to post our initial LP somewhere else, and somewhere else that tends to have a crazy amount of volume and a crazy amount of eyes to it, and are very selective in whom gets on that exchange. So very good for us, very easy to access, and it'll be a great experience. And I'm just encouraged to see how that kind of all plays out. I really want to announce more, but I contractually cannot. So don't fret about that. Again, as before I go into all the questions that are in the AMA Questions Weekly, if you guys have any questions, please simply request to speak, post them up in the AMA Questions channel on our Discord, and we will answer them live as well. So, do you guys have anything to say before I start going into questions? Nope, looks like we're all good there. Okay. Anything about the previous Bigfoot side, I'm not going to spend too much time on in the Protocolx, but you're going to get at least the base model. That's how I'm going to word it. Like I said, I have to do some calculations. I've been telling you guys that for months at this point, but I'm going to make it fair, going to make it equal. I just don't want to spend a ton of time back on the old. You guys are going to get the airdrops, you're going to get the NFTs, but we have to also promote the forward as well. So we'll work on that. No worries on that end. Next one from, Bran. Ping Bran if you want to. Just kidding. JK, do not ping Bran. He's not in the AMA. Next one from Pretty Boy Nunu. Does the instability of dollar affect the coin in the stock market? If we'd like to go sit down for an economics lesson, we can definitely do that. But I don't think I understand what you're asking there. So I'm going to skip that one over. Pretty Boy Nunu, if you will, let's see. Yeah, if you could just clarify what you mean there, and then that will help me out on that end. Sony Sega, the liquidity pair is going to be PTX and BNB. That's going to be our LP there. So that'll be our primary LP is PTX 2LP. Okay, next one. Lord A's Kaj. I heard that the tokens which are not bought during the pre-sale will be burnt further. Why is that so? Why not maybe keep them for a future sale again or something else, like out of potential rewards or staking or something like that? Okay, hey, so for the second part, can you share with us the links and places where the AMAs? So Lord A's Cage, check out our events here. We have 9 events scheduled in the Discord. That's each in Lord A's Kaji. Lord Azashgi. Anyway, we have them all scheduled up in the events there, so just check on that links, click on that tab, and you will see all of them there. Okay. As far as the pre-sale tokens, yeah, we could, but part of what I've kind of ran this whole mechanism upon was how do I want to word this? The transparency. Okay, so let's say that there's just a random, 5-10 million tokens hanging around. That leads for a lot of opportunity over time to create additional sales, even if it's in good intentions. I'm not super thrilled about that. By doing this, we start clean. The percentage of our pre-sales, the percentage of our pre-sale, I'm not going to dilute the market. I'm not going to dilute the circulating supply. This is what we are. Boom, get rid of the excess, don't need them. And maybe even I could work with Solar so we just will mint the amount that we need to. I'll kind of see how that works there. That might end up being how it is on the contract anyway. but I don't want to have an extra 5 to 10 million tokens laying around. I don't feel very comfortable with that. And even, best case scenario, it just sits around because I don't want to sell it on people. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the thought process on that one as well. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. So next one, El Neni Raider. What should we expect the first week of fair launch? Well, technically this is fair launch pre-sale. So this is the first week of fair launch pre-sale. But what should you expect the first week of our actual protocol going live? A lot of fun. The announcement that I get to put out in reference to our partner for where we're going to list on the exchanges is fantastic. It should be a pretty exciting ride. I'm going to play with the LMS as well to see kind of how we can incorporate that to facilitate some longer term sustainability variables. I very much so look forward to playing with that and kind of getting a good grasp on how that feels. We'll be building the NFTs. We'll be releasing information on those. Information on the decks will come shortly after. I'm working with a couple other teams to get that live as soon as possible. We just got Ego, our first official partner, to KYC with Assure. So part of our agreement and partnership with Assure is that we facilitate the KYC for them. So they're going to end up being listed on our exchange when that comes live, and they are now going to be KYC assured for up to 2 of them. So a lot of big things will be coming in there. That's us building and growing, and we'll continue our marketing approach. Don't think we're just going to stop this. We might not be doing, 10 to 15 in a week anymore. That's quite a bit, unless we need to. I'm going to start pushing that coin market cap and CG sort of rating as well and get those going. So it's going to be a lot of work on my back end, getting the business side set up so that our eyes could be some more eyes can be on us. So ideally a ton of work for us, and then you guys get to enjoy the rebasing once the tokens begin there. Okay. Next question, Logus767. Do you think that everything has gone according to plan at the beginning of the project, and that you have a good development marketing team to help you achieve the mission vision according to your roadmap? We do, Logus. Actually, even more so, the team that we had before, the development team, I don't want to, look down or whatever on them. They are great at what they do. However, this solar team is quicker, better, more efficient, cheaper, and quite frankly, more personable. I can talk to them directly. The other one, I had to go through like a third party reference. It was a little weird and not super good to get updates. So in a sense, I feel like we are even ahead. Yeah, we took a little step back with that, having to switch to the solar team, but that official partnership is amazing. That's going to literally be what promotes our growth into not only this launch, but into the future. So look forward to that. I've also talked to a couple other people about maybe getting an expedited decks made, because that other team obviously is not going to deliver the decks anymore because we can't get a hold of that lead dev. So we'll work on that. I have no concerns. In fact, I feel even more confident than ever. And we're at 306,831 in our pre-sale, which is amazing. We have another 4 days. We're going to keep working that, get that up, ideally above 500, ideally to 1.2 million. We will see how it goes. But we're ready to go right now. We're ready to get this thing going and work it as hard as possible. Okay, next one here from Simon33. I have been keeping this question in mind since... Okay, can you please tell me how your staking system works and requirements for staking on your platform? Okay, so Simon, our token, PTX token, is an auto stake token, which just means you keep it in your wallet and it's going to immediately start rebasing from there. You will not have to actively stake it. So there'll be nothing for you to do except own the token and keep it in your wallet. Now, there will be staking mechanisms on the DEX in reference to our XSwap token, which will be our farm token. We'll release a whole Medium article on that. The different swaps are going to be available. The different farms are going to be available. Our partners, how we're going to work everything on that end. So that's going to all come out there in due time. But for the PTX token, you just simply buy, hold, and it'll start rebasing as soon as we go live and you get those actual live tokens. Next one here, Logus767. Again, what is your biggest obstacle or limitation faced by Protocolx? So right now, the biggest obstacle that we ran into was a slower dev team, which I just talked about, which we've resolved by the amazing work with Astoller. So our team is working very well together. We get everything done. We like working with each other. The community is fantastic. The pre-sale is going great. Again, we're at 306,831 in the pre-sale. Let's get that to 1.2 mil. Just saying, we can invest so much money into in that ego trading bot and be burning bigger than the big rebase projects out there. Literally the first month that we're alive. That'd be badass. I'm just gonna say it that way. The higher we get, the better we are. But we're good now. We're ready to go, ready to rock, ready to kill it. All right, next question. Zion Ziel. Brand said earlier, MA, that extra NFTs function as a node of sorts. In that context, are they expected to project a daily ROI on the different tiers? Okay, hey, so we're going to release a medium here very soon, but they're not a daily ROI in the sense of a node protocol or even the rebase token where it's X% per day. These will be a accumulation of the buy and sales tax that'll go into a pool and be distributed to those NFTs that are owned. That's going to be how that mechanism works in and of itself. So it's kind of simple to work on there, but it allows us to basically create a system there that isn't Ponzi economic based, but is a good form of a daily yield. And it also facilitates the ecosystem mechanism that we're working. So the better the PTX token does, the better the NFTs do, and vice versa. It's a whole ecosystem working together in accordance to the larger plan. Okay, let's see. Pretty boy, Nunu, what I mean by the monetary policy tools, inflation rates, and economic growth measurements are typically influenced by the value of your currency. I want to buy the coin tonight, but I want some clarification. Okay, so I think I kind of understand what you're getting at there. Because I'm an economics major. I went to Penn State and got my economics degree from there. So I understand what you're saying with monetary policy and basically driving monetary policy forces by varying the supply demand, the economic variables that will facilitate more or less inflationary components to facilitate influx or removal from the economy of it in and of itself. So that doesn't really directly relate to our kind of currency because it's not like the US dollar. The US dollar is an inflationary mechanism because the government decides to make it as such. But it's also not built in to be inflationary. Everything else changes with it. So when the US dollar loses value by 10%, the cost of goods goes up. That's not how it works in our system. So with that being said, the tokens themselves are the ecosystem. They are the mechanism. So if the token goes up, it just creates a better environment for the entire ecosystem in general. And if it goes down, it actually is a correlation effect. So everything else sort of decreases in the same rationale with it. So I like that economic theory. So maybe I'll kind of work up like just some basic step-by-step on different forms of economic theory and how they directly relate to DeFi in general, especially with the rebase token. But I think it's pretty interesting to look into. We can do things to incentivize an influx of money, monetary policy inward, and we can do things to get a deflux of money into the system if we want to, or tokens into the system via burns. That's what the NFT keys are for, the X keys. So upgrading keys is a burn, and the lottery is a burn. Me burning tokens, buybacks and burns of the ego bot's a burn. That creates, if you want to look at the tokens as dollars, less dollars in the ecosystem. It allows me to control that monetary policy, if you want to kind of put that verbiage together, into the mechanisms that we have with the rebasing token. A lot of people are probably super lost by that conversation, but pretty boy Nunu, I feel like you are not. So feel free to ask a follow-up question there, and I'll kind of address you there. And Blazer, I'll retouch that. Maybe I'll make one just for the OGs. CK, Walks, Brand, I think you're all around. Let's think about that. Maybe we can make an NFT for that that'll fall into the same as the base, but maybe look different. Let's think about that there. We'll go into there. They're not made yet, so we have a little bit of leeway.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'm playing with the AI right now, trying to generate some more images.
Yeah, let's see. Because if we had 50, whatever the amount, just like increase it by a few hundred, that's not the end of the world. And that can correlate right to the OG roles that had NFTs. There's only like 500 and something create of those. We'll play with that. We'll figure something out there. All right, so I'll keep following here. Sean Call, is there a plan to continually add funds to the Ego bot? Of course. I love the Ego team. I love Marquise. He's the one that designed that. Great human, but also very, very intelligent. So I theorize a few different ways to do that. We can either be continuously adding more funds to it, or we can allow it to compound a little bit. So maybe 50% goes to burns, 50% compounds back into the bot, stuff like that. That gives us a little bit of leeway. And it also allows me to get more money into the trading bot and still have a better chance of facilitating my 12-month goal. But that's probably going to be, I want to get out this early and often. So I want to get these burns going early. But if we had let's say the bot did 80% in a month, maybe I'll use 20% as burns, 60% put back into the bot, vice versa, whatever the case might be. So that gives us a little bit of flexibility. But yes, of course, I would love to add funds to there. I do personally with my own personal dollar bills, which is not always open to all personal people. But shout out to that team because, I get my ins. So good enough for me. Any decentralized liquidity for PTX? Yeah, so that's a great question, almost, Owen. So there will be, I assume you mean just like alternative LPs, decentralized liquidity, or are you talking about kind of the staking mechanisms? I think you might be talking about the like farming, rather, I should say. So there will be. I'll say that to yes to both. We'll have additional LPs of various things, but we also want to get creative in a sense of solid creativity that's good strategically for the decks and for the pools associated with it. So if I'm kind of missing what you're exactly saying there, I do apologize, but yes, I would love to have a greater strategy and a little bit uniqueness to what we do with that in there. Next one, El Neni Raider. After the 9 month of -9%, price reduction is a 10% stable till the end of the pool. I'm not 100% sure what you're trying to say there, but basically that decrease of sustainability variables, that 10% less each month over 12 months, that just allows us to catch up over time and get ahead. Like I said, by that 12 months, I want to be able to buy back and burn a net positive to tokens minted. So if there's, a million minted in a month, I want to be able to buy back and burn 1 million. And maybe if I can exceed that, fantastic. I probably won't burn over unless I need to. And that kind of ties into the previous question before about a monetary policy. If we can control the monetary policy of this protocol, that would be very advantageous for us. If we could allow it to boost our rising floor theory with the LMS, and we can also allow it to basically just be sustainable, one steady, solid price, which heck yeah, that's what if it's compounding at 0.5% per day and the price is exactly the same, that's a win. That's a major W in my book, and that's the goal at the very least. Why do you have more info to share in PTX AMAs and not other projects AMAs? Because we are special. This community is special. They got to come here for the good stuff. If they want the insider info, they can come join us here with the rest of the insiders. But until then, they're going to get their cliche spiel that Brent and I give seemingly 5 to 10 times a day in all these AMAs now, but they're fun. I enjoy them. Okay, so the next question from Dro Sif. What will the sale tax be after pre-sale? So the sale tax is going to be 18%. Right now, your pre-sale is being purchased at 0.06 BUSD. That price will go up to 0.07 when we go live, and the buy and sales tax will be incorporated. That'll be a 13% buy tax, 18% sales tax, right on line with that of Titano, except our taxes go a little bit differently as far as their structures in between that 13 and 18%. But it'll be 18% sale tax once we go live. Lots of giveaways. That's brands, bread and butter. Okay, Sony Siege. Is all the money from the presale going straight to the OP or reserving some for other use? Also, are we going to be audited by launch? Okay, two great questions. The approximately 20 to 30% is going to go to the LP. Ideally 30%, but I want to be able to have a good heavy investment. 20% minimum is going to go to the LP, and then we have the auto liquidity mechanism built into the buys and sales and the tax structure. So it'll be a decent LP regardless. On the higher this pre-sale stats go, the more I am willing and able to put into that LP as far as a percentage is concerned, because a huge piece of what we're looking for is one, actually price volatility is kind of good for the LMS in a certain aspect. honestly. But beyond that, it also allows me to put more money into the ego trading bond and some of the other investments so we could really start attacking those inflationary components bright and early. That's how we have to do it there. And then next, are we going to be audited by launch? I don't believe our audit's going to be completed by launch. It's possible, but I'd say not likely. I already have the prereqs for Certic. I just have to get them the final contract. We're going through the last couple tests there, and then we'll get that live. But it'll be through Certic. So when should we expect our decks going live? I'll say anywhere from 2 weeks to maybe 6 weeks at most. And maybe that's me being a little hesitant on the back end. I think I can get it in 2 to 3 weeks if I pressed at it. I could probably get it even sooner, to be honest, but I'm going to prioritize a solar team making the NFTs, and then they might work on the decks. I also have someone else who's already has a decks build very similar to what we need. So I'm going to see if I can make a deal with them, get it live for us even quicker. Congrats on surpassing the $300,000 mark. Hey, shout out to you, Don. Thank you. We are very, very humbled and happy to be here. So, from where does your coin derive its value? Oh, it's very simple, pretty boy Nunu. From how anything derives value, demand. So if people want it and they buy it, the price value goes up. If they don't want it and they sell it, the price value goes down. Relatively basic as far as, general economic I guess theories is a good way to put it. But 0.07, we've kind of taken the supply mechanism and the price that we're starting out at, and that's a good, fair price that has fared well with others. I actually expect us to probably settle a little bit above that initial point, but obviously I cannot guarantee that. There'll be a lot of things that'll change. Once we go live, we're listed on this surprise partners exchange, and then we go from there. Yeah, Rocky, let me brainstorm about the OG NFTs. I think I might be able to work something there. So let me brainstorm on that. I think we can do that. I gotta hit up the team. I have to get a fifth NFT. That's all right. Let me look into that and we'll get that out there as soon as we can. Token allocation for the team, yes, we do. So we're gonna be overly transparent with everything here. So Silver Igniter, this is to your question. Literally every single week, I'm going to release, I still have to build the templates, but bear with me. I'm going to release a variety of charts. They're going to be pie charts, pie charts, bar graphs, just numbers, whatever it might be, simply tables, whatever it is. We're going to have a lot of information out there to go out every single week. I don't care if nobody reads it. I just want to show people what we're doing. So right now, I currently have everything logged, every single TXN logged that's interacted with our contracts and everything. So the team pay right now for approximately 14 people is about, I think, $7,800 a month, or excuse me, $7,800 a week. So we're going to have that out there on these graphs. It's going to show core team X amount of dollars, mods X amount of dollars, outside developers and freelancers X amount of dollars. So that's going to be out there every single week. So one project that recently failed, by the way, was paying their one lead dev $9K a week. So right now we have an entire 6-member core team plus all of our mods plus workers at less than that one lead dev was. And we're also willing to adjust. We're not going to increase our pay unless it totally makes sense for us to. If anything, we will decrease our pay to help with the sustainability variables over time. And we're not trying to sell tokens and be malicious in that sense. That's BS. And we're not going to do that. Obviously, that is a bad thing for the protocol. And by the way, it's also bad for demeanor because this is all trackable. The blockchain literally doesn't lie. I have our team wallet already in the FAQs. I have our treasury in the FAQs. If people on my team were to be malicious, someone would find out, they'd get the information out there. It's stupid. It's a dumb decision that teams do. So we're not going to do that. But we are going to be very transparent. So don't want to get on my little tangent there. Yeah, Rocket, I do want to compound. Imagine that bot does like 40% a month and we compound it in. Tasty. Okay, Lord. I have a question about your NFTs, XShare, X keys. It's best I do a live. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you request to speak? I've been reading, so if you requested to speak, I sincerely apologize. Where are you? Okay, I'm going to bring you up. Shoot, I do apologize there, man. And you are live.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you just fine. How you doing today?
Fine, sir. Good evening, sir. It's evening over here. So, my question on the NFTs, you said that the X keys can be used to upgrade the X shares. So, I want to know each tiers of the X share, do they have a specific total amount for each tier?
Yes, we do. So I kind of went over each value at the beginning here, but I'll kind of go into each real quick. So at the very least, there will be a 5,000 of the base, 1,500 of the tier 2, 400 of the tier 3, and 100 of the legendary. I think I might do 500 extra for those from the previous project called Bigfoot special, or I'm just going to increase that by 500 and whatever it is of those NFTs there. But they'll be very limited in general. We're talking 5,000 total to come out for anybody. That's incredibly limited. So that's pretty cool. And then obviously that's a total of 7,100 if my math is correct, or excuse me, 7,000, and maybe plus some from the Bigfoot side. So not a ton out there. So it'll be a good return via the tax structure. So it won't be super diluted.
Okay, so my main question is this: since each tier has a total amount, when you upgrade using the X keys from one tier to the other to the higher tier, does it take a space out of the higher tier which is supposed to be minted, because it's no longer on the lower tier, it's now in the higher tier? So is it automatically minting a higher tier, or how does it work? That is what I've been very confused about.
Yeah, so you'd basically be exchanging that NFT,
right?
that base NFT, for the tier 2. So you would be not getting both in a sense, but you'd be now you wouldn't be getting the one, and obviously that'd be one less in that smaller tier, which will then adjust that percentage pool accordingly, and then it'll be the additional next tier from it as well. So it's going to work it's basically going to be a calculator system, so it's not human error component, but there will be, I guess, less.
Okay,
That's
so
a good way to look at
basically,
it, deflationary in mechanisms.
once you upgrade, hello,
I can still hear you.
okay, so basically it's just like you exchanging a lower tier for a higher tier while giving X keys as like an additional payment.
Yeah, so the X keys are a little bit different. The X keys are going to be a faucet. So you're going to exchange the PTX tokens, and then they're going to be inserted into the X keys. Consider the X key like a little, like a wallet, right? So these tokens are going to go in there, but once you add them to there, you cannot remove them. And every time you interact with the lottery with the X key or with the doors upgrade, those tokens are going to be automatically sent to the main dead wallet. So it's a direct burn mechanism. So the X keys are just how you interact with the lottery and with the upgrade of the doors.
Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted to know about the conversion because it was actually confusing me. Thank you very much for clarifying.
Hey, no problem. Honestly, man, fantastic question. That's great there. Thank you for that.
Right.
Yeah, actually, amazing question. So great job there, friend. That's good there. Let's see. Let me see where I left off. Any guess where the price will get to when token launching? I don't want to guess on that. If once we can announce where we're going to launch, I think people might have a better guess game, but I'm not going to personally guess on that, or else I'm going to hear, hey, you said it was going to X times, and I can't do that. I cannot do that to you guys. That's unethical at best, but I think it's going to go well. I'll put it that way. See, Zane Ziel again. As an investor focusing on passive income, how can I generically compare the ROI of Protocolx to projects that project a certain ROI? My wife and I already bought on the pre-sale with 6 children's futures are planned for. How can I judge if we drop an extra chunk into Protocolx or another project that we're excited for? I'm looking for something to assist in determining what is best for the extra funds. Okay, so that's a great question. I'm unfortunately never going to tell people how to invest their money. I just don't want to be the one to say, hey, you should put everything here, and then if something goes wrong, you're out of luck, right? I just don't feel comfortable with that. That being said, there is a way you can diversify within our ecosystem if you wanted to. So the PTX tokens are rebase tokens. Let's say though that you're like, yeah, I have a good thing, good theory that they're going to do well. I think it's going to be a good play, but I don't want to put everything into that, obviously, because what if it's DeFi? What if something doesn't work quite as expected? Cool. After a few weeks, we're going to have these NFTs. They run off a totally different mechanism. They're not a sustained, direct daily ROI, but they're a revenue share from what the protocol brings in and of itself. So if the protocol is doing well, you mint a couple NFTs, and then you get immediate return from that aspect. That's a way to diversify within the ecosystem in and of itself. And you can even deal with profits generated from your PTX tokens that you got in the presale. So I'm not going to tell you not to, go into some other project. I want everyone to succeed and grow and prosper here in DeFi. But we are very, very transparent. We are literally running this off of transparency, security, sustainability, and all that good stuff there. If I think when you hear the team talk in some circumstances, you can get a good grasp if they're, full of nonsense or not. And I feel like we really know what we're doing. Now we still have to put it into practice, right? And that's going to be a whole nother aspect of this there, is taking all these good theories and all these things that sound great and work well on paper and make them work well in the real world as well. That's what we look forward to doing here, bringing that live. So, I'm not going to ask you to put more into the pre-sale unless you genuinely believe that it's going to benefit you. I think it's going to be a solid thing, but I'm also the founder and the CEO, right? So obviously I'm going to believe in my product here, but I enjoy what we're building, and I think we're going to be able to build something even better as we start moving forward through the project. Next one from Silver Igniter. Plans for buybacks, automatic or manual buybacks, or relying on the other burn mechanisms? Okay, cool. So this is another one of the problems that we have found with DeFi and with rebasing tokens. They say, hey, we're going to do buybacks and burns, but then they only do it when it makes sense in their own mind to do it. Okay, so what we're doing here, we have that PXBB portion of the buy and sales tax. So the money will go right into a separate wallet, and it'll be done with strategic manual buybacks. It's not going to be an automatic buyback, but it is going to be often and substantial, right? So I want to do them at least weekly. Different times throughout the week, but at least weekly. Keep ahead of the curve. If you wait for it to fall already too low, that is a major issue in the long term and causes some real issues to try to come back. Then then you're being used as exit liquidity. If you do it often and not consistently the same date and time, but just consistently in the same week, like we do once a week, that is a great mechanism for me. It allows us to use that tax revenue. It also allows us to use the EagleBot, which let's say that EagleBot, let's say we max out the pre-sale, right? I know we're not really near there. It's kind of far-fetched. Maybe we will. I would love to, so much. That would be fantastic. Okay. Let's just say though, in this perfect world, we maxed out the pre-sale. We put 30% into the bot. It generates, now we put 360,000 in there. And then next month, it does what it did last month, and it makes 32%. And then I get 90% of that to go back here. Well, if we had that done last month, we'd have $103,680 to work in a buyback and burn. That is way larger than even many of the very, very large rebase protocols out there. So let's just do a weird theoretical. The price didn't move. It's still 0.07. We're talking almost 1.5 million tokens that we would have burned if we were live last month and we had that 1 month, review at that max allocation. So that's how we're going to get ahead with these buybacks and burns, is be very proactive with it. Now, if we're at 306,000, obviously, we can still get a 6-figure investment into the buyback, into the bot, but it'll be about, 1/4 of where it was before. So it's still fantastic. Instead of 1.5 million, what are we looking at there? That would be, $37,500 for buybacks and burns just from another revenue system. That's fantastic. That's wild. That is groundbreaking for any rebase protocol out there, let alone if we were, relatively small and not a ton of holders and all that. But let's make us huge holders. Let's make us big. Make me work. Make me get those numbers to work for us the best because that's what I want to do. So, like I said, be a friend, tell the world. Since we started the AMA, I think we've got another 5,000 on the pre-sale. So shout out to that. But we got to keep working, keep building, get that pre-sale going, then get the money into the trading bot and get that working for us day one so we can take advantage of these returns that we can get from there and do some buybacks and burns. All right, next question here. I've been talking for 46 minutes straight. Starting to lose my voice. My homie Bran, he needs some time. It's okay. All right, so Sony Siege. Someone solved the Titanos exploited these lotteries. Okay, so basically, is it risky to have a lottery because multiple tokens be a bit risky combination? There's always a potential for an exploit. I'm not entirely sure what you are wording with there, but so I guess you're saying that Titano's lottery got exploited. Is it risky to have the lottery there? Okay, that could be a thing. The good news is that you're going to be interacting with these X keys, so you're not interacting with your main wallet. You are in a sense, you are interacting with that, but the NFT is going to be what will be distributing the tokens to it, and it's only going to be contractually allowed to accept tokens that are in that X key faucet. So let's just say worst case scenario, it got exploited. There are already dead burned tokens that are going in there. So yeah, I guess it could be exploited. We'll get that audited to make sure that there's no backdoors, anything crazy, and we'll do what we need to do on the security side. Lotteries can be a little bit risky. I don't disagree with you there, but so can bridges and so can swaps, so can everything. So we just have to be careful, have the security side of it locked down, and then kind of move forward from that end. Would you encourage the creation of content inspired by your protocol? If yes, what are the things you like content creators to focus on the most? Yeah, so if anyone wants to get into make YouTube videos, make Twitter threads, whatever you want to do, not only are we going to encourage it, but we'll tweet them out. If you put your YouTube video on Twitter, I will like and retweet that from the main Twitter. I'll like and retweet it from my own Twitter. We have a pretty good following level of people on there. So that'll be good to get your product out, and it benefits us. More to it. What I would love to be focused on is whatever excites you the most. I love the sustainability. I love the transparency. Those are the things that really drive me to creating this and to being motivated to work on this day in and day out. So that's what encourages me to get up and push forward at these and really get it going. Maybe you love the idea of passive income. Maybe you love BSC. Maybe you love NFTs. Whatever is get into your brain as exciting, roll with that. Focus in on that. I love the the sustainability variables, the transparency, and the NFTs. Those are the things that kind of get me excited there. Just a little clue on the incoming partnership announcement. I don't want to get in trouble. So, all right. So if you were to think about some larger exchanges that have a ton of volume that are not PancakeSwap, and I'll put this out there, there is no rebase token on this exchange to date, not a single one. We would be the first, and it's a large one, so we'll go with that. It's a swap, so it doesn't have like farming and staking, I don't believe, on their platform, but they have swaps.
And I'll give a hint. Let's see. How can we say this? They have their own wallet, and it has over 700,000 downloads.
Okay, we're not going to speak it.
So use that.
Good one.
So use that to yeah.
Alpha.
Right.
You know what you did, Sony. So I'll let you kind of work on that. He deleted what he typed, but that's a good guess. We'll kind of go from there, right? So okay, next question. We're gonna move right forward. People are getting all the alpha here today. No worries, easy day. So next one from Silver Igniter. Multi-sig partners are all 17 members. Yes, it's actually 6. So Catterday, he elected just to kind of take a step back there. No worries on that end. It was a mutual understanding just due to time constraints. What I wanted to have him do is primarily kind of document prep and go into there. He kind of wants to get more into the behind the scenes security aspect, which is going to help us a little bit more. So he's kind of working in the background as an advisory role. makes it easier for him to work, but also allows us to, not really get into any like finite details of how the protocol should run and stuff like that. So anyway, 6 of them. It's a 4 out of 6 multi-sig. So instead of 4 out of 7, it's 4 out of 6. And that's myself, Bran, CK, Walks, Sally, Adam. And we are all doxxed, and I am KYC'd by Ashore. Good. Okay, that answered all the questions in there. I know I haven't been checking this. So if someone else requested to speak, I am so sorry. Let me bring you up here live. Pretty boy Nunu. Once you accept, you will be live if you so choose to. Hey, what's going on? You just got to unmute yourself and then you'll be able to talk freely.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I could hear you just fine. How you doing?
Fine. How you doing?
I'm doing very, very well. Very excited for this week.
All right. I just wanted to appreciate this team, and I wanted to say you guys are doing a really good job. I also would like to know the public profile behind this project, the team as a whole. So I don't know if I can get it anywhere in your website or
Oh yeah,
somewhere.
you just want to see like each of us and our
Yeah.
About Us page?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'll post it here for you. It's on our website. We have an About Us page. I'll post it in the chat there so that you can have direct access to it there. Let me just pull it up, then I'll post it in there.
All right then. All right. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate you and great questions, man. Honestly, I work for another project as well, and sometimes I go deep into the economics world. So I like that question. I very much so look forward to kind of working through all that stuff over time. And I'm going to tag you in the page right now.
All right. Thank you very much.
Hey, appreciate you, man. All right. So looks like let me see. Okay, cool. Looks like can I confirm the buys in sale taxes? Yep, so Silver Igniter, 13% buy tax, 18% sales tax. That is all in our white paper and on our website. Full breakdowns of all of them there. So I'm going to hammer this home. We are 53 minutes in, but I don't care. How do I want to word this? You know what? I'm not even going to be subtle. The nonsense with LC that occurred in the last 24 hours is just, hopefully there's no kids here. If there's kids, cover your ears. It's bullshit. They raised the sales tax to like 50 something percent. They pulled the LMS. It's total nonsense. It's a nightmare. So we have been very, very transparent about, and what I'm here to say, and this will not change. We are not going to increase the buy or sales tax at any point. We might decrease it over time. I'm not going to say for sure. We would love to be able to decrease it over time if possible, but I am not going to increase the buy and sales tax. They increased buys and sales tax because they failed. They literally failed at what they did. And that's why they had to increase the sales tax, to punish those who are trying to get some resemblance of their investment out, because they're not good at what they do. So I'm not going to go too much further into that. That's on them. I'm sick of that. That's terrible. Maybe I will go further on it. LC has been I'm not going to sit here and roast LC. I want to. Every little soul in me wants to so bad, but I'm not going to. So, okay, I'm going to move on to the next question. If you guys want to know my personal opinions of LC, I think you already got an idea. So, all right. Let me get to these next questions here. Believe this. Sorry, pull up my Discord. Is there a fire pit burn mechanism? What is its percentage? Okay, cool. So there is a buyback and burn fee associated with the buy-in sales tax. That's going to fund that buyback and burn wallet, the PXBB. We go into that a bit into detail in the white paper, but on the most base level, we have that 13% buy tax, 18% sales tax. Of that, 3% of the buy tax immediately goes to that buyback and burn wallet, and 3% of the sales tax goes to that buyback and burn wallet. So in all the time, it's just putting money into there every time someone buys or sells. And then from there, we're going to do manual and strategic buybacks, but often. We're not going to sit here and do them once a month and hope for the best and not do them when the price is going down. I'm going to be doing them weekly. I'm going to be doing them at different times during the week so that they're not predictable, but it's going to be ideally weekly is what I want to do there. Obviously I'd like it to make sense. So if we have $50 in that fund, doing it weekly wouldn't make sense. But if we have 8K in there, let's buy back and burn 4K worth, right? Why not? We got to keep working to get ahead of these things. We're running on sustainability. Why would we not take advantage of a built-in sustainability variable? So that'll be the direct mechanism there. Does the burn wallet rebase? So it'll actually be BNB. So it won't be in PTX. So it won't rebase there, which is a good thing. Does a burn wallet rebase? I'm sorry. Okay, so our burn, the dead wallet. I'm sorry there. All right, so the dead wallet is going to be, I'll post this address for you guys in the chat here. If it'll load, let's see if BSC scan will load. Perfect. Okay, so the dead wallet is the mainstream dead wallet. So yes, it technically will rebase, but it'll rebase out of circulating supply. So it doesn't matter. It's not going to change our supply. Nobody can actively sell those tokens that go in there because really the token mints wouldn't be a big deal if nobody ever sold. That's kind of the primary components of these buybacks and burns. If we minted 1 million tokens and yeah, it's going to dilute it, but if no one sold, then it's not adding more tokens to the LP than what was previously there as far as a balance of the liquidity pair is concerned. So by doing this, it goes to a dead wallet. It can never be sold. It's out of circulating supply. I couldn't get it back even if I wanted to. There'd be no way for me to get it back. Boom, gone. Anything that I have with a dead wallet or like burn mechanism, I'm going to have a route to this wallet immediately. I don't want to be able to touch it. I don't want to see it. We don't need it. We don't need to deal with it. So it'll be gone. Okay. Yeah, you guys are getting some alpha today. You guys are killing it. So let's see here. Hey, Rocket, did you ask me about LC at one point? And you might have asked me about it at some point. I know some people have known me for a while did. And I was basically like, I'm staying away from LC. They were a red flag nightmare. So sucks. It sucks that so many people lost on that, but that's a failure on the team. That's a failure on multiple levels. Yeah, and I'll keep attacking them too. I don't really care. They can get over it. They can come hate on me if they want. I don't care. Maybe they should run their project better. All right, let me go through, make sure I didn't miss anything. Looks like general chat is good. Please make me rich. Hey, not financial advice, no promises, but Ronan, you've known me for a long time. And I think you've seen my work ethic here and elsewhere. We're going to do literally everything that we can. And in places where you met me initially, I've gone to literal wars for different things that I couldn't change. Here we can run the show. We can make this happen how it should happen. So I'm excited about it. It's freeing. It's exciting. It's exciting to be able to work on this and build this, and even as we kind of navigate through, we're going to run into a bad time eventually. That's just crypto. There's going to eventually be a hard time that we have to run into some sort of mechanism to work through, and we're here to work through it. Like, I'm not going to lay down and cry because something didn't work how I wanted it. Who cares? Figure it out. Do better. Get over it. Get past it. And move forward. That's the way you live in business, right? If you take every hit and just crumble, like what Protocol I've been roasting did, then you're gonna fail. But if you keep fighting and keep making it work and keep creating and keep growing and keep expanding and keep grinding, we're here to make this as great as possible. We have a great team. We listen to the community. We listen to each other. This team around me is fantastic. And you know what? I've already kind of gone in on LC, but for those who have been around with those who have the OG status, I did not like working with that team personally. I did, but it wasn't exciting. It was me doing most of the legwork and then getting blamed for things, and bad things were happening behind the scenes. It was a nightmare. This is a total different atmosphere. It's something that I actually enjoy getting up and doing. I'm motivated. I'm encouraged. I want to throw all of my time and effort into building this because one, I'm full-time crypto. This is my career. I left a police job, by the way. Very, very stable. But policing in America is a little different. I'm almost 30 and just getting into fights all the time, and it's a little chaotic. So this is my full-time gig. This is what I do. So it makes sense for me to make this succeed, and it makes sense for me to make it succeed for you guys. So we got to keep working together as a team. We have the team to do it. We have the community to do it. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep grinding. Let's keep showing. Let's keep getting these AMAs going. Get the marketing rolling. Get through this pre-sale week, and that's when the real fun begins. This pre-sale week's just for me to start investing some of this money and growing the protocol from day one. Shout out to the Narek who's in here with us. Shout out to Ego. Go check out what they do. They have mooned the last week. They have like, I don't know, 5 times, 10 times, 100 times. I don't know, but they are killing it. So go check them out. Love that team over there. And I very much enjoy working with Narek. He's the one that hooked me up with the solar team. So, hey, all blessings. These are the people I want around me as we grow, just as people and as business people and as a project and in DeFi and as a community. So I know I kind of get a little long-winded sometimes, so hopefully you guys don't mind that, but I got the passion. Hopefully, we think I got the mind. I think I got the mind. So we're going to keep working on that end, keep us growing all the way. I know ego and just get us going, get us to success. Nothing shady, transparency around every corner. You know what we do. Same thing that we always want to do over there. So let me go through the last bit here, see if we have anything that I missed. Looks like main chat's good. AMA questions, a couple people typing, so I'll filibuster just a little bit. And we'll go from there. Let you guys type this out. So if you guys are, see. And I got the raw on my side. That's all we need. All right. So what's an example of a good way to take profits in this ecosystem? Honestly, that's going to be up to the individual investor. It's a rebasing token. You can take rebases. You could sell above rebases. You can hold them out and wait for the NFTs and try to load up on the NFTs because they're a little bit less supply and demand based. So there's a variety of strategies, but I literally cannot tell you how to work on these. I would definitely advise getting with someone who's been around rebase protocols for a while and have them look into us and let them give you their opinion, because it's just not good ethics for me to say you should hodl my token for a year and you will probably be a millionaire, because that hasn't been reality in any rebase project out there. So if you want to take your profits along the way, feel free to do so. I'm not going to get mad at you. If you get mad at me one day and you hate me because you liked LC and I talk trash on them, sell it on out. I'm not going to stop you. I want to make you guys want to hold it because you see value in it. So that'll be the primary thing, is we need to bring value to the token and to the ecosystem in itself. And if you choose to believe in that growth and you think it's going to be a net positive for you to hold, then great. If you think it's a net positive to hold and sell just the rebases or some, then great. I'm not going to tell you to do otherwise. But ideally, you can listen to us. You can see what we do. We put out these reports, and you can make a decision that'll be best for you and your life circumstances and the space. And even diversifying into the NFTs. That's something that I'm not going to directly recommend, but that's something that I would do if I was if I was an investor. I would basically rebase until the NFTs. I try to get as many of them as possible, and then I would go from there, because I like the NFTs. I like how that system is working. It's a revenue share, so the better the project does, the better the NFTs do. I like that. That's good math in my mind. But that's for me. It's not for everybody. All right. Next question here. Sony Siege. Are we going to be listed on multiple swaps? So for the first 2 weeks, we will only be on this one that you took a guess at earlier. We will be only there for a minimum of 2 weeks. We're going to stay there. We're not going to go remove it. So we're going to keep that as our primary, and then we're going to expand it. I'll probably start building up our own personal decks at that point. to be perfectly honest. But if our Dex isn't ready yet, then I don't have to. There's PCS is there. I'm probably not going to go back to PCS just to be honest. Once we're on this other one, but there's other ways for us to facilitate growth over time, and we'll kind of work that through as a team. All right, from Almost Owen, what are your plans to capture Dex market shares from entrenched BSC players? Great. So we have a tokenomics already laid out for how the Dex is going to be structured there, and it's going to be one that's advantageous for those who are on there, but it's also advantageous for the Dex in of itself. I designed it to not be a major revenue making device for us personally. It's still going to do well for us, of course. I'm not going to make it a net negative, but I want it to be something that, okay, for the volume. Okay, cool. So yeah, that is a priority, and we've kind of talked about different strategies to implement onto there. And I'll give you a little plug here. Huge shout out to what you got going on over there with Magic. That's been something that's been interesting to me since the Titan days. I didn't really know about you guys before. So there is a lot of different mechanisms that we can do to basically encourage the use of that Dex. So it's going to be a priority, but maybe not the sole priority. I think that's one of the issues that we see with these Dexes is they get too strung up on just having volume get onto the Dex and not the quality of the volume. So with that being said, we're going to take it easy, going to take it slow, try to vet these projects that are out there. If I have 2 or 3 other tokens besides my own on there, that are like DeFi based, because those are the ones that I feel like are actually worth it, then that's okay with me. If I have 10, that's okay with me too. But yeah, I agree with you. You got to find that niche, and you can't let the focus drift. If you let greed take over or you get distracted along the way, it can get messy real quick. And we saw that with Orbital most recently. I'm out here calling everyone out by name. I guess it's just today's thing. Orbital's still going okay, I think. I don't know though. But Orbital with Titan, I'll just say that. They kind of got a little too diversified. So we're an hour and 8 minutes in. There's no holds barred anymore. All right, so Don, there are no anti-whale lock mechanisms, correct? Correct. I have nothing built in that's going to make people hold. It's going to penalize people who want to sell, because I don't want to do that. I don't think that's fair. If someone wants to invest $100,000 into this project, they have the right to do with it what they choose to. Does it suck if they want to sell out all of their tokens? Of course. But it's my job and it's our team's job to make it so they don't want to sell out all their tokens, right? And maybe it's even just as simple as me being tight with them and saying, hey, you have 100K in here. Let's just talk. If you need to sell, hit me up for OTC, right? That's perfect. That's an easy solution. Doesn't impact the chart, gets them out if they want to. But a lot of projects out there that I've been involved with, that I put 6 figures in or 50K plus in, we reached out for OTC and they said, oh yeah, we'll get to it. And then the price kept going down and down and down and down. And I said, you know what, screw these people. And I sold, right? So just that one little thing, we offered them a way to not impact the charts, but that dev team decided not to do it. That's a very easy solution. And all we got to do is be open about that. I talk about it on the AMA, do however we need to. So that is you just have to run it right. You just have to run it like a crypto business. I don't want to say like a mainstream normal brick and mortar business, but crypto business, and go from there. All right, next one from Billy NY, Billy on the streets. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Hilarious. Good little show. Anyway, who do you consider your closest competitor in the space? What other projects do you see as a good benchmark against? So I don't really see other rebase projects as competitors. And I've even reached out to some to partner if they want to. And it's not to try to steal their investors. It's because I think we can combine our ideas and we can all get better in the space. Because quite frankly, I tell people not to fall in love, right? So if you like something, invest in it. Just because you were with, Time last summer doesn't mean you still have to be all Time. Hector Dow, yep, they did all right. But if you were with Time last summer, you don't have to be with them after everything that happened last year. You can move on, right? You can find something that does little things a little differently. So I don't really see them as competitors. Obviously, the big ones out there, Titano, Seifu, Kyoto, I like those guys. They're all great at what they do individually, but they're not doing exactly what we're doing either. They don't have these outside revenues facilitating buybacks and burns. They don't have a liquidity management. They don't have a decreasing APR. They don't have these variety of sustainability variables that we have already implemented on day one. They don't have that as part of their business philosophies, and that's fine. But in my mind, that makes us a little different entirely. Yes, we have a rebase token. We also have an NFT. That's a revenue share system. Who's doing that in the space? If someone is, let me know, because I don't know of anybody that is right now, especially with combining it with a rebase token or doing the decks like how we're doing it, where you have to be vetted, you have to be KYC'd. I've talked with Almost Owen because I want to find people who we actually appreciate what they do, and they do really good work. We want them involved with various aspects of the decks. We don't just want everyone to come in and basically screw it up along the way because they decide to rug one day, and it creates a bad environment for the decks. So there's a lot that goes into what we're doing, and I almost see us as our own little unique niche right now. We're an ecosystem that's going to continue to grow, that we're starting off where a lot of projects will want to be in a year. I think that's a good way for me to put it. So we are going to, in my mind, this is not a guaranteed, this is not financial advice, but we are going to succeed. That's my opinion. That's my feeling. That's how I want to work. And obviously I'm the founder of this thing, the CEO of this thing. I don't think we're going to fail. That would be bad business, right? But if we do succeed like how I hope we do and how I think we will do, we will see other projects that are already out there with 10, 20, $100 million treasuries start doing what we're doing. And that might be in 6 months, that might be in a year. It is what it is, but that's okay. That's not a competitor. That's learning. That's how business is. And I'm from the United States. That's how capitalism is. And that's a good thing. Competition, capitalistic kind of fundamentals. I love that. We all need to challenge each other. And guess what? If they do it better, that's on us now to do something better if we want to. That's on us. It's not on them. I can't hate them for wanting to do something that is successful. That would, so that's how I feel. I'm not going to go out there and start fights with people. I know I talked a little trash on LC. They deserved it though. So, and on Titan, they deserved it too. If you're going to rug or be malicious or be totally incompetent, yeah, I'm going to talk trash on you. But everyone else I'm cool with. I love the guys over at Kyoto. I haven't had too much conversation with the Titano guys, but I've been invested with them for a long time. So I've been in so many different rebase projects, including Hector, including one that I talk trash about. Some people still like, so maybe I won't talk trash about them. But I've been invested in one that even offered 1,000,000% APY called Jade. It might be a good investment now. It was not last November. So consider that how you will. But there's other places out there. There's other ways to expand. A lot of things that we can do as we navigate and develop what we're doing here. All right. Okay, Billy NY, you have another one. If any, what real life revenue streams do we plan to support the project? So that's something I've looked into so heavily. And in the last year, it's made it complicated. Real estate, you're talking 10 to 15% APY and quite a bit of work, right? So that's not really realistic to fund a DeFi mechanism. Masternodes, they're good. They're okay. I like those in certain aspects. Miners, they were great at one point. Now they're okay. So you can get a couple out there that cost you like 20 grand and make you like $100 a day net revenue. So that's all right. That's all right. But you're still looking at, what is that, 20 over 100. You're still looking at what, 200-day ROI on that. So there's things out there to look into, but you got to be careful. It's not we're in DeFi and we're offering DeFi level APR. So we have to be a little bit more creative than some of the mainstream things. But if something does make sense, damn right I'll look into it and I'll kind of assess the value of it. And even if it is, let's say, some condo real estate that opens up near me and I need to go run it myself on the ground, I'll do that. If it's going to make us, a significant amount of money, yeah, I'll go do that. Every day I'll go check on my property and manage that, in the real world for the project. So I don't expect that to happen, to be perfectly honest, but it could, right? There's always a possibility. Let's see. Are you considering doing YouTube live AMAs with video? Yeah, so go check out. I know someone just below you. Shout out Crypto Atlas. We did a video with a video AMA. It wasn't a live AMA, but it was a video AMA at Crypto Atlas. But yeah, honestly, I'd like to get our YouTube popping. I'll do YouTube lives right now. I don't really care. we're all already doxxed. I've been on James Pelton's videos twice for another project that I work for. I've been on Crypto Atlas twice now. So there's a variety of different things where I've shown my face and done videos. Really not too big of a deal for me. I think YouTube Live could be fun. I follow some YouTube Live channels like Chat Sports because I like the NFL. So I follow them. It's fun, man. I will watch them during the NFL draft and the day after games, stuff like that. So yeah, that could be a good engaging thing. People can post questions. They could do super chats, whatever. We got to build up that social media a little bit more. But yeah, that could be a thing. Oh, I opened up the can of worms. All right, so I'll get to that one in a question, Don. What's the difference or intended difference with the rare, legendary NFTs? So there's going to be a different percentage rate from the entirety of the pool. So it'll be like the lowest tier will get the least amount of the percentage proportionately. So they will technically have the highest percentage of that X share tax stream, but it's because there's 5,000 of them. So on a proportional basis, they will have the least percentage going to them, and the legendary will have the highest. The legendary are also very exclusive. There'll only be certain circumstances for which they would be out there in the real world. So a lot of things can kind of work onto there. We're going to release a Medium article that goes heavy into detail on the NFTs. I might actually have to update it because I might want to do an OG one for the old Bigfoot crew. That might be cool. That would make you guys feel good. So let me see what I can do there. No promises yet, but let's see if I can get the team on something. I'll pay a little extra to get it done if it makes sense. Let's see. What other projects do I work for? Let's see. I think I have it in my main bio, but you guys can't see that here. Yeah. Well, okay, cool. I'll say it. I'm a community manager for Polar, which is a node protocol on AVAX. I'm also the COO for Ego, but it's a non-paid role. So kind of like an advisory role. I love the team over there. They kind of came to me when I went through some differences with the previous team that I worked for. So I just like to help them, man. Like what they do. I don't know if Narek's still in here. Maybe I'll check because I'm talking about him. Yeah, he's still there. So Narek's my homie. Marquise is my homie. That whole team over there, they're just so great at what they do, and their minds are great, and they're so humble. They just blew up here in the last few weeks, or last few, I guess, week or so. But these guys, yeah, the market hit them too. They ran into speed bumps. Their dev team was late on their staking, and what do? They overcame it. And then now they're popping. Now they're going. That's what we need is the resiliency in the space. Good people, good strategies. Those with the good people with the great strategies, they're going to make it in here. That's just the case. So when Eric, brought that up to me, it was not even a hesitation of thought. It's like, hell yeah, I'll come, basically just be involved with you guys. And yeah, it's a COO, which is technically a high role on paper. It's still in my mind, it's an advisory role, and I don't want pay from them. I told them that. And they allowed me to invest in their trading bot on my personal level with personal funds. And man, Narek's in here, so I put some money into that thing. So I'm getting paid with my own money, which is good enough for me, and it helps that ego on the back end. What are my thoughts as nodes as a service, DeFi as a service? Okay, so I have a lot of experience with the node industry. As I just mentioned, I'm a community manager currently and actively for a node protocol on AVAX. There are unique challenges with node protocols, very unique challenges. And you have to be so ahead of the game or else they are going to fall out from under you, which they all have. I think the only one that really hasn't thus far, I think Horde is technically a node protocol. I don't really know what you want to call them, but everything else is down 98%, 99%, 99.8%. It's not good in that industry. So they rode a node season high with no sustainability variables. They were not doing investing. They were not doing buybacks and burns. They were staking a little bit to get, 15% APY. That ain't going to do it. So they're building with their money, which is great. Most of the projects out there, I've invested in Thor. I've invested in, obviously I'm heavily invested in Polar. So I'm pretty in depth with the node industry. Here's the difference. Let's say let's say the market crashed, right? And, you were in insert rebasing protocol and you want to sell. You're down 50%. You're like, man, screw this. I want out. I'm going to sell. You sell all your tokens. You take the tax hit. You move on. With a node protocol, let's say you were just stacking up your tokens. Now you have, 50,000 tokens in your wallet, and then it takes a hit. Then the protocol or the markets take a hit. You sell 50,000 tokens, but guess what? Your nodes are still there producing tokens every single day. That becomes a problem. If you're not actively fighting that inflationary component, you are not going to succeed in that. It's going to become very, very difficult. Ego just got I announced it publicly. So Polar just invested 50,000 into the Ego trading bot. I'm working with the top lad over there. We want to facilitate some buybacks and burns, try to get ahead of the curve. But man, those problems they're harder to overcome with a node project than they are with a rebase project, and it becomes difficult. So yeah, in some senses, are they slow rugs? Sure, in some cases. In some senses, did they ride a euphoria because they came out in January and February and they immediately 5 times and they were killing it? Yeah. And then maybe there's some mismanagement because they just rode that high. What you should do with success is make your business more sustainable, more successful. We're Monday morning quarterbacking. You can't go back to February and change that, or and whatever. So that's a lesson. That's a lesson that I learned. That's why I created a rebase protocol and not a node protocol. And I like NFTs better than nodes as well, as far as revenue share goes. So there's a lot of issues that can come up with them. I would love for them to make a major comeback, but man, it's hard. The prices decrease, people to start creating more and more and more and more and more. Your emissions are wild. It's so hard to navigate that. Very, very difficult. So I'm working on Polar. Like I said, I work for Polar as a CM, so I have some direct work involved with that. That's fine. But it's hard. I don't get to do what I'm doing here. Like I know Ego and I know Narek and I know Marquise and I know that whole team there. So if we sold out this pre-sale, I want to put 50%. I want to put like 600,000 into that dang trading bot. Why? Because I believe in them. I believe in the team. I have trust in them on a personal and professional level. Polar isn't there yet. Enor, he trusts them. He trusts what I say about them as well. But he has to see it. He has to see what he does there, right? So that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But in this sense, I can make that call here and today and get that going. Now we're at 307,000. Like I said, I can still get a 6-figure investment in it. But if we had 1.2 million, we could be buyback and burning, greater than the big dogs in the space. So there's a lot I just talked quite a bit about things that are less relevant to us. So I apologize there. But that's kind of how I believe is there's different ways to management of this space. And I plan on avoiding some of those issues that came up in the past. All right, so Don, OGs were from a previous project called Bigfoot. There was a split from there, and then we created Protocolx from there. So those guys that got the old NFTs, they're the OGs in the sense. So they might get a special one, but it's all right. Not the end of the world there. See if I can at least create a different role for the verified pre-sale guys here. But as of right now, I got to just navigate one at a time. So let me see if I can work with them there. All right, so Mike, you're still typing. My voice is starting to get a little hoarse. So we're at 1 hour and 24 minutes in. But hell yeah, I have not had... All right, I got a little excited there. Let me bring it back a step. It's been a while since I've had a community AMA run almost an hour and a half because the DeFi space has been not as popping. So hell yeah, I love this. And yeah, we've had like 20 to 40 people in the audience. I can't wait till we have 100 to 200 to 300 to 500 to 1,000. I don't care. And then I got to do these things for 3 hours. I don't care. That'll be fantastic. So let's keep growing the fam. All right. So let me make sure I don't miss anything here. Don, am I thinking about having a bug bounty program? I haven't really went into that just yet. I have seen that work successfully, but I'll think about that and let you know there. If it makes sense for us to do it, we'll do it. But I don't have it in the plans currently. All right. Let's see. Make sure I don't miss anything here. Is anyone else typing? Nope, looks like everyone's done typing. So we're going to start bringing this here to a close. Hey, click on that event tab. Tomorrow we have House of Obsidian. We have Crypto Kingdom. On Wednesday we have Crypto Zen. On Thursday we have the Crypto Hideout AMA and Telegram. On Thursday we have Alpha Ventures AMA. On Thursday again we have Crypto Group Telegram AMA. On Friday we have the Cardinal House AMA. Hit up those AMAs there. Check up those on those events tab. If we get any more, we'll add them there. We'll announce them the day of or the day before. We got plenty of more to do, and I'm probably gonna have to take some honey or make some tea because my throat is going to be sore as heck after all these AMAs this week. But I love it. I'm here for it. So maybe I'll do another something, a live event or whatever on Friday when we go live to talk us through all that. But until then, huge shout out to you guys. We got to get to work and get these mediums put up for the NFTs and kind of build that up from there. Thank you all for tuning in here on this week's Community AMA as Protocolx fam never fails on this beautiful August the 15th, 2022. And then we will see you throughout the chats, of course, all week. And then same time, same place next week, Community AMA here. You guys get the insider information. Everyone else gets my standardized speech that they always get about the general points. So you guys get the deets here in the Community AMA. Be a friend. Tell the world. We'll catch you all later.